What's going on, guys? We're going to go ahead and clean a Glock 43 today. It's a pretty simple process. Just figured I'd make a video, let you guys know how to do it. Most semi-automatic pistols all clean up the same, and it's a very simple, easy process. But if you're new to the game, not sure exactly how to break down the Glock, any Glock, because they all break down the same way, here is the process. And most semi-automatic pistols, they all break down a little bit different. So you want to check your user manual or check a video out on YouTube and whatnot on how to properly disassemble the piece so you can clean it out. So we're going to do a basic cleaning like anything you would do after every time you get home from the range. The sooner you clean it, the easier it is going to be. I shot this yesterday and was a little lazy when I got home, so I'm going to go ahead and clean it today. But to start the process, what you want to do is get the slide disassembled from the frame. So to do so, there is a little trick for Glocks, because they can be tricky. There's two tabs. There's one here on this side, and there's one on that side. What you're going to do is bring that slide back just enough so it kind of gets out of place, and you pull both those tabs down on at the same time, and it brings the slide off. There is a little quick tip and trick for it that most guys that are familiar with Glocks use, and it's what you do is you get the webbing of your hand, and they're almost like you're going to shoot the pistol, but you take your grip on top of the slide and you bring it back. Now before you do that, always safety check your pistol. This pistol has been safety checked. There is no round in the chamber. It's completely empty, and so you're going to go ahead and point it in a safe direction and pull the trigger. Now that that trigger is all the way back, you will go ahead and, like I said, just do this quick little trick, and you pull it back, pull those tabs down, and it'll let you slide that slide right off the pistol. Okay, so it's pretty much all disassembled. You got your frame, your slide, recoil spring, take all this stuff out. You got your barrel, and this pistol is ready to be cleaned. So to start the process out, you are going to want to just kind of wipe down all the excess grease and whatnot. You can start by using a good solvent. I am using today some Hops number 9. I guess this is a new type. I have never used the copper remover, but it's just like a souped up version of the regular Hops number 9. So we're going to kind of use that. But before I do, what I like to do is just get most of the crud and stuff off there, the grease, excess stuff. So that way, you know, you're not really wasting your time. Get most of that stuff off there. Wipe down your barrel. You're going to kind of wipe down your recoil spring and get the stuff off your recoil spring. And also you can wipe down everything in that frame there. So try to get most of it. You know, even on the exterior, on the front of these, it gets kind of cruddy, so you're going to want to do that. Now, right now, like I said, I'm just getting the majority of it. Once you start using a solvent or a cleaner, it's really going to take everything off of it. So we got most of the stuff off of there. Looking good. Now we'll go ahead and get the solvent involved here, okay? Alright guys, I forgot to mention, you also do want to wipe down this slide. That's very important too. So, you know, get in there. This is going to have most of the crud of the pistol, this besides the barrel. So kind of wipe that guy down. Use some, you can use some regular gun cleaning patches to do so. Something that's soft. You can probably use paper towels or whatnot, but you know, I usually use some gun cleaning patches, get an assortment of different sizes. I find that the bigger size squares are easier to use because you know, obviously you got more to clean up. You know, you want to get the all in there, all in all the cracks and crevices. You can also use a brush to get in to like the extractor, stuff like that. You want to get in these rails real good. So pretty much get everything wiped down, and then you're going to go soak some patches with your cleaner or your solvent. You can use something like rem oil, but I find that rem oil really doesn't get everything out as good as a true solvent like the Hops number 9. There's a ton of great options out there, so you don't have to get that type, but I find that that's the cheapest type. So I start by using the solvent, soak rags, really get in there, guys. You know, take your time. I'm not going to do an hour-long video on how to clean this gun. I'm just going to kind of cut and edit so you guys get the gist of it, and you can do it as long as you want. I am very anal and OCD about my cleaning my pistols and my rifles, so I'm going to be here a little while cleaning this guy up. And so as you're doing that, you know, clean, 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 scrub, 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 you're going to do that, get real good in these rails. You know, you can get all up in there, and then also, like I said, you can use a brush to get really good inside of those rails and all the cracks and crevices. Also, you want to get in that extractor, make sure there's no debris. Check out your pistol while you're cleaning it, make sure there's nothing gumming up the works and stuff. Really don't have to worry too much about your recoil spring. That's not a big deal. Maybe a light coat of lube on it, but nothing crazy. Now, as far as cleaning the barrel, that's a very simple process too. What I like to do, I have found that using a bore snake is going to save you a ton of time, but I don't like to dirty up my bore snakes right off the gate. So what I do is I'll take a whatever caliper brush your pistol is. This is a 9mm, so we're going to take a brush, soak that bad boy, get it all wet with some of that hoppies, however you want to pronounce it, number 9, and go ahead and just push that guy down your barrel, and you know, start breaking up all that crud inside the barrel. This is going to be the dirtiest part of your pistol. You really want to get up in there, and you really want to go as many times as you need to get this really clean. Okay, so I push it through a good amount of times, and I will then go back through with some of these guys. Let me go ahead and grab some something so I can run that through too. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I got one of these little patch run through mobobbers. I don't know what the true name of these are, but you know, I just slide a couple patches in there, do 2 or 3 on a 9mm, and what you'll do is pass that guy through too. This is going to clean all of that junk out there and collect it after it's been kind of broken down. Now, another good tip and trick to do with this is also, obviously don't keep running dirty patches through there, but what you can do is use some of these already soaked solvent patches and pass a few of these guys through there as well, and then go obviously back through with dry patches. What you want to do on the whole pistol, you do not want to leave any solvent sitting on that, because it is going to break down your metals and stuff. So you know, the solvent's just used to clean, then once you use it to clean, you definitely want to get that stuff out of there. Okay, so you know, run some of these through there, get that barrel nice and clean, and then I would say it's safe, you know, once you've run a few passes through there, go ahead and hit it with a bore snake. This is a great investment. You know, you can get all sorts of cleaning kits. You don't have to go crazy. Just something simple like one of these guys is going to have an assortment, and over the years you'll collect stuff, but that's going to have a good assortment for you. And then you can start passing your bore snake through it. So good tip is always go with the flow of the barrel, go the way the bullet travels down it. And this is a very tight bore snake, but that's a good thing because it's gonna really get in there, guys. It's really, as you can tell, that barrel's already becoming super shiny just with one pass of that bore snake. But go ahead and pass it through 3 or 4 times, and when you're done with that and you keep running these clean patches and see there's no more debris, your barrel on the inside is pretty much clean. So after that, just take some of the solvents, start wiping everything down, guys. Start wiping everything down with these solvents. Get real good in there, all the nooks and crannies and stuff. You really want to get that feed ramp real good. Wipe that bad boy down all around the face of that, because that really gets gunked up. And just rub her down. Okay, rub her down. They love the rub downs. So get that guy, get up in here. You don't have to go too crazy on the frame, guys. You pretty much just wipe everything. I like to hit because you can see there is some debris and dirt and stuff on the face of this pistol, on the front of it. So I like to really get in there and clean the pistol up. You know, like I said, I'm OCD, so get all up in there. Get in those rails, underneath, all around those rails. You know, it is good to have gloves because the cleaner is pretty potent, and it takes a lot of scrubbing to get off your hands, the smell and stuff, and get it. It's just, you know, obviously not good for it to soak in your skin because your body's going to kind of take that. Also, another trick I like to do, not really a trick, but just a way to keep the smell down, because you might have a spouse or somebody else in the house that might not enjoy this smell, is as I'm not using this, I put the lid back on. That's really going to help with all the smells and stuff. So, you know, get real in there, clean it pretty good, get the crud out as much as you can, and then once you're done with cleaning all this stuff, all good, wipe it really good with some dry patches, and then we'll go ahead and I'll run through how to get this guy greased in light grease, light lube, and then you're all set to go. Okay, so I'll be right back. All right, guys, so we've cleaned everything up. As you can tell, you know, frame's pretty clean. You know, we wiped everything dry, got all the solvent off of there, and everything's ready to be lightly lubed and put back together. So as far as that process goes, we are going to, I guess we'll go ahead and start with this barrel. It doesn't really matter what you start with. This is some great stuff. Rem oil works very well. I have seen rem oil evaporate a little bit in heat and high heat, temperatures and stuff like that. But something that holds up very well is, and my very favorite is Wilson Combat Grease. I love and live by this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of the Wilson Combat for the outside of the barrel and the slide, a couple drops on the rails, and then use some rum oil for the actual barrel. So for the barrel, just take your passer througher guy, and I like to set it up on a rag of sorts. Kind of get that guy nice and damp, spray down your barrel, and give it a quick pass. Okay, so you pass that through there, get that guy nice and lubed up, and then once you do that, you are going to want to take a couple of these guys, not enough to where it's extremely tight, where it will remove all of that, but you want to try to get some of that stuff out, so it's just a very thin light coat inside your barrel. You don't want so much that it's going to collect dirt and debris and stuff, so just give it a pass or two. And as you can tell, it is nice and shiny, but it is not heavily lubed, so you're good on that. Now I will take some of this Wilson Combat Grease. Some guys say, don't put too much grease. No, don't put, a whole lot. No, I put how much I feel comfortable with. I like a nice, decent coat. Now I probably will get some criticism from some guys like, you're using way too much grease. I have cut back over the years, but I still use a good amount. I want my gun to be able to perform, but not so much that it's going to collect a bunch of gunk. And I usually kind of keep it off the feed ramp and stuff, but just a nice little sparingly amount of grease or oil around that barrel. That's perfect. Okay, you do want to kind of get in there, and one way to do so, drop a dab, a little dab will do. That's what they say. That grease, that bottle of grease should last you quite some time, even if you shoot all the time. So kind of get it in there, and voila, that guy is done. That's ready to be assembled again. I also like to put a little tiny bit around the actual spring, just to kind of prevent some rust. It doesn't really need it much, but it does help, keep everything working the way it should. And also you can put a few drops on your rails. That is very important. So put a couple drops, maybe 2 or 3 along the rails here, and you can spread that so it's nice and even. Kind of get a nice thin coat. It's not extremely important, but one thing that's very important is you do not want to put any grease or get anything. You want that to be completely dry all on that bolt face. Okay, so where that bullet hits, you don't want anything, no grease, no nothing. Get all up in that extractor there, underneath that extractor, and then there, and get that stuff nice and dry. Okay, so just a little bit, spread this stuff around. Another thing I personally like to do is get the bottom of the slide. Not a huge deal, but just a little thin coat. This is going to protect your metals. This is going to protect your slide. Get that stuff all in there, and then also you can use some of these cleaning swabs, the cleaning patches, to get up in that slide and really get that nice even coat going through there. So you kind of get the gist of that. And as far as the frame takes the least amount. It's very simple. You can put a drop underneath here, a drop underneath here, and I personally like to get a little bit on these back rails too. So we'll just put a little something there, and then I typically put a little grease on my finger, kind of get some of those metals, top of the rails, the extractor, you know, all that stuff. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Spread that grease on there, spread it on here, and then you're ready to put this sucker back together, guys. It's that simple. It's not a hard process at all. So we'll go ahead and clean it up, get it reassembled, and she is good as new. Alright guys, so everything has been lightly greased and lubed up. So we're going to go ahead and put this guy back together. Take your barrel, get that guy all up in there, nice and flush, all the way back. Take your recoil spring, that's going to go towards the front. Go ahead and dip that guy in there. And there is, just for people that aren't too familiar, there's that little notch where this guy will rest perfectly in there. So put it in the and right here, and then you're going to push that guy in just enough so he sits in that notch real good, and it's in there. Everything on the slide is ready to be reassembled back onto the frame. Here you go. Line this guy back up with your rails. So we'll go ahead and do that. I do notice on some of these Glocks that sometimes you don't want to force it on the back rails. You might have to gently make sure it goes back onto the back rails. So you'll go ahead and cock that guy, and he is ready to go back into action. Okay, so this is a clean Glock. Now another good tip for you guys, if you are going to be storing it for a while, or if you want your pistol to look shiny, these silicone claws are really handy. You can just take these. Shoot, I've had this guy for probably 10 years, and what it does is it puts a nice light coat of silicone. I get into the serrations on the slide, wipe that guy. So as you can tell, if you look at that shine versus, it does have some grease, but before it didn't have much of a shine to it, and now that's going to keep that slide like brand new. Do keep in mind that this silicone is a little bit it's going to be kind of slippery. So if you want to make sure you got a good grip on your pistol and everything, maybe not use it. But especially for storage, if you're going to be storing your pistols and rifles, this stuff is going to make sure that it does not oxidize. It's going to just give it a nice layer of protection and really keep your pieces looking like brand new. The cleaning it, maintenance, all that stuff, you want these to last for years and years to come. This is how you do it. I know a lot of guys don't care, and some people, they just don't even clean their guns, which I think is awful. It's horrible. That's how your stuff fouls out and gets pitted, and it just will gunk up and stop working on you eventually. But this will make sure and ensure that you have something that is going to be reliable and last you for years and years to come. So this is a quick video. Thank you for watching. Keep in mind you have Rem Oil, hops number 9, Wilson Combat Grease, get you a nice cleaning kit, and get a bore snake for your size caliper to make things a lot quicker and easier. And if you'd like, you can also get one of these silicone gun and reel claws is what they call them. Get that, some cleaning patches. Well worth the investment, guys. You spend maybe 30, 40 bucks. This stuff will last you for years. So thank you once again for watching the disassembly and cleaning of the Glock 43 or any Glock. Thank you.